Good evening and welcome to the City of Watsonville Planning Commission for Tuesday, October 7th, 2014. Anyone wishing to address the Planning Commission is asked to fill out a yellow speaker card for recording purposes and place it in the box at the podium in the council chambers. Please state your name before speaking, and speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Can you get someone to interpret that, please?
Buenas noches. Para dirigirse a la Comisión de Planificación, complete la tarjeta amarilla. ¿Es amarilla o azul? ¿Amarilla? Ok. Y antes de hablar, colóquela en la caja que está en el podio en la Cámara del Concilio Municipal. Por favor, indique su nombre y tome en cuenta que está limitado a 3 minutos. Y también si quieren usar los aparatos de interpretación en español, obtenga un aparato de la mesa junto a la caseta de interpretación, préndalo y use el canal 0. Cuélgueselo en el cuello con el frente hacia afuera. Si no puede oír, revise que el aparato esté encendido y sin obstrucciones. Solo funcionará dentro de la Cámara de Concilio. Regréselo antes de partir. Gracias.
Thank you. 1.0, roll call, please.
Castillo,
Here.
Dana,
Here.
Gonzalez,
Here.
Jenkins, Sarmiento. Here. Gomez Contreras, Corley.
Here. 2.0, pledge allegiance. If I get everybody, please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, visible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me. 3.0, petitions and oral communications. Oral communications from general public and planning commission. This time is set aside for members of the general public to address the planning commission on any items not on the agenda, which is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the planning commission. No action or discussion shall be taken on any items presented except that any planning commission may respond to a statement made or question asked, or may ask questions for clarification. All matters of the administrative nature will be referred to staff. All matters related to the planning commission will be noted in the minutes and may be scheduled for discussion at a future meeting or referral to staff for clarification and report. Any planning commissioner may place matters brought up under order communication on a future agenda. This is a excuse me. Is anybody out there like to bring anything up in front of the planning commission that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, I close the oral communication. 4.0, consent agenda. 4.1, motion approving minutes from the September 2nd, 2000. What?
From
Oh,
Planning
sorry.
Commission.
Any planning commissioners have anything they want to bring up? Yes.
3 brief items. The election is Tuesday, November 4th, but you can vote here in City Hall. If you get absentee ballots, you vote and then bring them to City Hall, and they'll mail them. Or you can vote on City Hall Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5:30. So be sure and vote if you're registered to vote. If you're not registered to vote, you have until October 20th to register. So be sure and register and be sure and vote. We live in a democracy, and this is a very important election, locally, statewide, and nationally as well. So be sure and vote. Second, questions for staff. I don't know if we can now or when you make your report for the secretary. The auto zone, does that go to the city council sometime, Keith, or
No, it was not appealed.
not appealed? So
Not
it's-
appealed, so it's done.
So it's done?
Yeah.
Great. And then lastly, as some of you know, there was a death resulting from appears to have been a fight in the Villager bar that came up to us last year, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Could we request the police department? I mean, they're still investigating. There was a fight, someone was hurt, and I think that person passed away last night. Could we get a report at our next meeting, which is November 4th?
Sure.
From the police, if there's anything to say.
Yeah, I'd
And
be happy
if there's
to
going to be some
contact them.
recommendation from the police. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other planning commissioners have anything they would like to bring up? Yes.
A couple of things. One of them is that I met with the member of the Open Streets. I was going to say Open Studios, but no, Open Streets, which is a concept where they close down a large area of the city, and people can participate in different activities such as music, food, different recreational activities. And I understand that the city of Watsonville is talking with them as well to put this event together. And I really would like to encourage that the Planning Commission support this effort. They do it all over the world. It's a great event. It really encourages people to come outside, exercise, get to know their neighbors, get to know the city. I think it would be a great way to plan or even select the Main Street area and to experiment and see what it would look like when we have the concept finish of the Main Street downtown area. So that's one of them. The other thing is that I would like to invite the public and also all the planning commissioners to a Pajaro Valley Prevention and Student Assistance, PVPSA, third annual fundraiser here at the Appleton. So we would be supporting a local business as well. And it's Thursday, October 23rd, from 5:30 to 8:30. We will have raffle prizes, also a local band, the Ville, that plays great music, will be donating their time. So I hope that you're able to join us in partnership. Thank you.
Any other commissioners have anything they want to bring up? Seeing none, I'll close it. Moving on to 4.0, consent agenda. 4.1, motion approving minutes for the September 2nd, 2014 regular meeting.
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
We got a motion. Can I get roll call, please?
Castillo,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Sarmiento,
Yes.
Corley.
Yes. 5.0, new business. 5.1, presentation by Community Prevention Partners and Project Curb, Community United to Reduce Binge Drinking.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for giving us time tonight to present. My name is Shebra Kalantari Johnson, and I am a member of Community Prevention Partners, or CPP. This is a coalition that's been in our county since 1991. It's a county-wide coalition that addresses drug and alcohol use among our youth. One of the drug areas that we've been focusing on since our inception is alcohol. Project Curb, Communities United to Reduce Binging, focuses on alcohol in our community. Project Curb was established in 2004 when we were ranked 6th in the state for high rates of binge drinking. We've been very successful in a lot of our efforts, and an area that's been a challenge to our community throughout the county has been alcohol density and its relationship to community safety and community crime. The slide here shows one of those relationships where there's outlet density, there tends to be higher poverty. The higher green areas are high poverty, and the little house icons are alcohol outlets. We have some community members here tonight that want to share their experience and share their stories. So I will pass it to our first community member who's here to share their story. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ana y soy Ana Carpio y soy miembro de la comunidad de Watsonville. Y esta tarde estoy para hablar con ustedes de mi historia. Yo vivo cerca de donde venden alcohol y cerca de mi casa está el callejón de la Orchard y encuentro muchas botellas de licor y manzanas agujeradas y varias ocasiones han dañado mi propiedad, han quebrado mi fensa para meterse y yo he llamado para hacer reportes de que personas están entrando a mi casa que están poniendo en peligro mi familia. Y yo lo que les quiero pedir a ustedes como grupo de planeación, que planeen una ciudad segura donde no hagan propagandas de alcohol, donde las personas de afuera vengan a pasar un día bien con su familia, sin temor de que su carro va a ser quebrado, que propagan la seguridad de Watsonville. Gracias.
Thank you.
Do you want to do the translation?
My name is Anna.
Hold on, please.
Do you want me to translate?
Yes, please.
Van a traducir la persona y luego usted sigue.
My name is Anna Carpio. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on a second. Sorry. My name is Ana Carpio, and I'm a member of the community of Watsonville. And this afternoon, I'm here to speak to you about my story. I live close to where they sell alcohol, and close to my house there's an alley by Orchard, and I find a lot of liquor bottles and apples that have holes, and lots of occasions I found that they've broken my fence to get in. I've made reports that people have wanted to get in to my house, and they're damaging and putting my family in danger. What I'm asking you, as a group of Planning Commission, that you promote a safe city and not to have, and that people come into the city without the worry about having a car broken into, and that you promote the security of Watsonville. Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Andrea Camacho y soy miembro de la comunidad y vengo a hablarles sobre el alcohol, lo que está dañando ahí por donde yo vivo, en la calle Main. En ocasiones ahí por la Princesa Market y la grocery y la liquor store, llega la gente tomada con sus vehículos, y la gente que va y compra su despensa en la grocery, van asustadas porque hay personas que van alcoholizadas en sus autos y tienen miedo de que les causen algún daño. Y hay varios muchachos que van y compran su licor y se pasan al frente al parque que está ahí por la Main, se llama Ramsey Park. Y eso me atemoriza a mí, y queremos una ciudad segura. Gracias.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Camacho, and I am a member of the community, and I'm here to speak to you about alcohol and what it's doing to where I live on Main Street. In occasions, I buy Princesa Market and the grocery store and the liquor store. People come in drinking with their vehicles, and the people that buy the groceries at the grocery store They are afraid because the people are in their vehicles drunk, and they're scared of getting hurt. And various young men go and buy their drinks or liquor, and then they go to Ramsey Park. And that terrorizes me. We want a safe city. Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ilelisa Camacho. Y yo les vengo a pedir que por favor planeen bien lo del downtown, porque como yo trabajo cerca de ahí por la May, a un lado de la Princesa, y ahí a menos de 100 pies hay 4 negocios que ya venden alcohol, y pues uno tiene hijos y como hay mucha propaganda de alcohol, pues uno piensa que pues como tienes hijos, no quieres que ellos se involucren a temprana edad en el vicio del alcohol. Gracias.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Indelisa Camacho, and I am here to ask that you plan downtown. I work close to Main Street and next to La Princesa, and in less than 100 feet, there's businesses that sell alcohol. Like, we have children, and there is a lot of propaganda for liquor. And I think that, like, I have children, I don't want them to get involved at an early age with issues with alcohol. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Eddie. I'm 17 years old and I attend Watsonville Community School. I'm here to express my concern about safety in my community.
Para expresar mi... Oh, sorry.
A few months ago, I was walking home from Youth Now when I stopped at Town and Country Liquors on Main Street for chips and a soda. As I was checking out, 2 guys did a beer run, and I just stood there, and when I turned, the cashier was just waiting for me to pay. And I asked him, why aren't you calling the police? And he said that there was no point in calling the police because they wouldn't show up, that this has happened multiple times. I was shocked by this. I am concerned about safety because I saw a crime and no action was taken. I haven't gone back to that store because I felt unsafe. What I ask for is a community where kids can buy chips and soda without witnessing a crime. Or if they do, that they know that there's actions going to be taken. We ask that you work with us to address these challenges in our community by revisiting the alcohol ordinance. We have specific recommendations and would like to meet to discuss them before the end of this year. We want you to consider these numbers and stories when thinking about an entertainment district, and we want you to keep us included in the process. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our presentation. Thank you again for the time, and we hope to be in contact with you, and we hope to speak to you further about these issues.
Thank you very much. And I was going to ask, any commissioners have questions?
Do we want to engage in some kind of dialogue or I completely agree with you. I think there's too many liquor outlets. I think we're oversubscribed by X number of alcohol. But I think the Planning Commission, at least for the last 5 to 6 years, maybe even longer, has been pretty good about not adding any more liquor licenses. When there's a transfer, I don't know what we can do about transfers, but any new liquor licenses? I mean, have we been fairly stable, Keith, at the number that we have, which is already a high number?
Yeah, we've gone down since the alcohol ordinance was adopted by about 6 outlets
Yeah,
total.
yeah. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I think I certainly don't want any more alcohol outlets in this community. I think there's too much alcohol and it's easily accessible. And that's both professional and personal. My father it was an alcoholic. He died from cirrhosis of the liver. My wife was is a social worker who worked for the Alcohol and Drug Prevention Program in Santa Cruz County and Monterey County. So I think there's just too many outlets. There's too much abuse of alcohol. You read the newspapers every day and there's some kind of crime. And one of the common issues has to do with alcohol abuse. So I hope, to work with you as well as, I think, I can just speak for myself. I would hope that my colleagues would ask questions or...
May I comment?
Yes.
We've recognized that the city has done a lot of work around this issue, and there's been a lot of work that's gone into an existing ordinance. And with the tremendous work, there's still some challenges, as you heard tonight. So we'd like to work with you to strengthen what's already in existence. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Do you guys have a strategy or, I mean, those are great stories and we heard the stories, but does your group have a plan, a strategy, ideas on, because basically we follow the guidelines that we're given.
Mm-hmm.
I know often we don't want to give that permission, but in all fairness, when people come to us and they meet all the guidelines. So my question is, do you have a strategy, an idea where you'd like to take this or where you're going to go with this?
Yes, we do have very specific ideas and strategies. There wasn't enough time to get into the sort of the specific recommendations tonight in the presentation time allotted, but we'd love to, that's what we'd love to sit down and talk with you further about.
Anybody else have any?
Yes, and of course, I would like to also disclose to the Planning Commission that I work very closely with CURB and Santa Cruz County Drug and Alcohol. We have several programs in collaboration with Baja Valley Prevention to support strategies to have youth be involved in other activities and not use alcohol or drugs. And so I not only professionally do I support what they're bringing forward, but I also, on a personal level, as a community member, I also support their strategies.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for your appearance here this evening. I would gather that many of the young people have experienced going into stores and seeing or witnessing what might be violations of the law. How many young people do you have engaged here in Watsonville on your efforts?
In terms of exact numbers, it's hard for me to respond, but we work closely with Friday Night Live Youth. They're part of the efforts. They go out and do, in fact, we have a very positive, rewarding project called Responsible Alcohol Merchants Award that happens every year, and they go out and they survey merchants. They look for specific things that that safeguard against selling to youth. And when those merchants have passed those criteria. We check with the law enforcement, and if there's been no citations, then we reward them publicly. So that's one huge effort that we have that Friday Night Live Youth are involved with. And then we have a number of youth, it's hard for them to make it to our daytime community meetings, but we work with them on several projects. There's a Lee Law project that they move forward with, looking at what stores are abiding by the Lee Law. That's the signage on the stores that creates some safety issues when merchants don't abide by them. So, but I can give you the number of youth that we work with. I don't have that right now with me.
I was wondering how many, would it be feasible for these young people and perhaps staff members to visit those stores which they feel are problematic and say, look, we're concerned, we're the youth of this community, and we've observed activities here which we feel are questionable. We'd really like it if you would observe these criteria, these standards, and we're working with a whole bunch of other businesses, alcohol sellers in town, and we'd like to have you join our efforts.
Mm-hmm. The youth have, they do that through the Responsible Alcohol Merchants Award and through the Lee Law Project, and they will begin to go out and speak very specifically about alcohol density and crime issues. So we do have some youth that are involved in the project that are going to meet with merchants that have some issues that come up and speak to them about this specific issue.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
So I want to just apologize to the public and my colleagues and city staff for being late today. Traffic seems to get worse and worse. But I'm sorry that I missed your presentation. I really was looking forward to it. And I have two comments. One is, because I wasn't here for your presentation, and you don't have to go into detail if you already talked about it, but do you have a parents component? Because it sounds like you're attacking the problem from multiple perspectives. And that's one question. And my comment is, you mentioned you have specific strategies and goals, and to the extent that that applies to the authority that we have to make decisions here or recommendations to the city council and staff, mm-hmm. It'd be great to see those.
Sure.
And I'm not sure how that can happen, or
what the
appropriate way would be to do that.
The council is going to be considering initiating potentially an entertainment district downtown, and also initiating a fee for police safety for all existing businesses that sell alcohol. That will be somewhat based in Santa Cruz, and there's a variety of different things that we're looking at. So those people that are interested in these issues may want to attend the city council meeting on the 14th because this issue will be discussed, and they'll give direction what staff should be looking at. We're at this stage focusing on downtown. The existing ordinance really has been restrictive in what can happen downtown, and there's a lot of interest in doing some things. So we want to find a balance, and we've been working with Chevra to come up with that, and the police department. And so, again, I think this is the beginning of the process. We don't have anything drafted yet. We don't even have direction to go forward yet. So that's what we'll be talking about on the 14th if those are interested.
And if I may respond, in terms of the parent component, we do work closely with parents. We've been doing community workshops in the last year and a half. There's a lot of parents who attend those workshops where we inform them about the issues, and then we hear from them what their concerns are. We're also in schools and do quite a bit of education to both students and parents. And the other part of it, I think Keith responded, but we have some general recommendations that we put together in a brief that is in the packet that's with you. And again, we would very much like to be at the table when the process begins and moves forward. And we are on the agenda at City Council to make a presentation and speak to them on October 28th, and we will also be there on the 14th.
Yes.
I have a question for staff. Let's just say this group has specific, as was asked by Rick, specific recommendations. Do they turn them over to staff, and then staff will say yes or no and put it on the agenda for the planning commission? Can I, let's say, as a planning commission member, sit down and talk to staff and say, these are recommendations that I want as a, regarding the alcohol ordinance? Or does that come from the council who directs staff to do that?
Comes from council in regards to direction towards what modifications we will be looking at.
So it doesn't come
what the
from us then?
process. It does not come from the planning commission.
In other words, if I wanted to change the alcohol or anything, any ordinance,
all policy.
I could not do it then.
No, all policy-related issues are directed by council. You guys represent each council member and their
Right.
districts, but they are the policy decision-makers who make references in regards to what modifications and give that direction to staff, and then we'll bring that forward to you.
So it could stop here. I mean, it could begin here and stop as well, but it could begin here. But in other words, we don't make those policy recommendations. So the city council would get together and in their wisdom direct staff to add A, B, and C to the liquor ordinance as an example to the alcohol ordinance. And then from that, it would come through here and then go to them.
Correct.
So I just wanted to be very clear to my colleagues and clear to you. I mean, I enjoyed your presentation. I'm glad you came here, but it's really the city council.
And we hope that it doesn't stop here, and this is the beginning of the process, and that as representatives sitting at the table from the council, that there's communication. And we've communicated to the council, met with them individually, and communicate with them. So, yeah, this is the start of it.
But I just want to be clear
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
that
Appreciate that.
I cannot come up with any kind of policy decision. Although I would like to, but that's not, it's not in our job description. So put pressure on the city council.
I'll take note.
Thank you, Keith.
Anybody else have any questions? I just have one quick question for the Watsonville Police Department. Is there any funding left for going out for decoys, or is that all dried up?
Good evening, members of the City Council, or the Planning Commission. I'm Sergeant Mike McKinley, and our funding is all gone. We used it up. The grant has not been renewed. We will apply again next year.
Thank you. No other questions? We're moving on. 6.0, public hearing. 6.1, a public hearing to consider an application for a special use permit, PP 2014-195, for the establishment of an auto repair business at 499 Auto Center Drive. Staff presentation.
Thank you, Chairman Corley, members of the commission. My name's Susie Merriam. I'm a planner with the Community Development Department. The applicant tonight, Gabriel Contreras, has submitted a special use permit to establish an auto repair business in the existing auto repair garage at 499 Auto Center Drive, which you can see up on your screen. That's the repair bay. The property contains an existing auto sales lot as well as the repair garage behind the sales lot. So the Watsonville Municipal Code requires a special use permit for auto-related uses in the thoroughfare commercial zoning district, which is why we're here tonight. And essentially, this is a change of ownership for an existing repair garage. Just to look at the floor plan here, highlighted yellow areas are the areas that are going to be leased by the applicant, and the remaining area is the front sales offices for the auto sales portion of the business, which is run separately. The garage is approximately 1,800 square feet. It includes 4 roll-up doors. There is no internal access between the auto repair bays and the sales office. However, there's a little sales manager's office that the applicant is going to also be leasing so that they have an office area in in the business. The garage has its own restroom with a wash-down sink. The proposed hours for the business are 8 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, which is pretty standard for auto repair facilities and is not going to adversely affect other businesses or residences in the neighborhood. As you can see from this aerial, this is the building here. This rectangle is the auto repair shop. There is plenty of parking. There's approximately 90 parking spaces in the back of the lot here in this area. And with the size of this garage at 1,800 square feet, only 5 parking spaces are required to be provided for the auto repair. And obviously, that is provided on the lot. So in conclusion, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the project as conditioned. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to come up and say anything? Presentation?
Buenas noches, pues yo solo nomás quiero presentarme, mi nombre es Gabriel y pues queremos empezar el negocio. Bueno, hablo en plural porque me acompaña aquí mi hermano y unos amigos que me apoyan muchísimo. Entonces simplemente eso, que queremos emprender un negocio para servir a la comunidad aquí. Gracias.
Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah, let's wait for the interpretation.
I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Gabriel, and we want to begin our business. And I speak in plural because here are my friends and my brother who support me. Simply, I like to begin my business to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have the applicant step back up, please?
Sí.
Commission has some questions? Yes.
Señor Contreras,
sí.
Te ves tan joven. ¿Tienes experiencia reparando automóviles?
Ya tengo...
¿Has trabajado en otros?
Sí, ya llevo como aproximadamente 4 años de experiencia trabajando, aprendiendo mucho, también, claro.
¿Aquí en Watsonville?
Sí, aquí en Watsonville.
Pero va a ser tu negocio suyo.
Sí, digamos, pues lleva mi nombre, ¿no? Pero me está apoyando aquí todo el mundo. Sí.
Gracias.
De nada.
Hold on.
Espérate, va a haber más preguntas.
Ok.
Bueno, sí. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Can't hear.
Sorry about that. Let me start over. You're very young. Do you have any experience in repairing automobiles? Yes, I have more or less 4 years of experience working and learning, of course, here in Watsonville. This will be my business. It has my name, but I have everybody supports me. Thank you.
Gracias. Quiero continuar un poquito más con la pregunta que tenía aquí el señor Castillo. ¿Experiencia manejando un negocio también tienes?
No.
No. Y cuando dices que te están apoyando, ¿son tus socios? ¿Es un grupo de socios o eres tú la única persona que va a ser responsable?
Sí, así es. Soy la única persona responsable y ellos únicamente me están soportando. Es lo único.
Y para manejar esta clase de negocio, ¿has ido a un entrenamiento? No digo reparando los autos, pero teniendo cuidado con todo el equipo, el ambiente, para no tener cosas en el agua o hacer, ¿has ido a algún entrenamiento o tienes ya experiencia en eso?
Tengo un poco de experiencia, pero ya más o menos me han dicho cómo hacerlo, para empezar a hacer también los permisos sobre eso, lo que dice usted, sobre el aceite, todos los permisos que tiene que hacerse para no contaminar el medio ambiente. También, aparte, pues todos los permisos posibles para poder trabajar en un negocio, por ejemplo, también que el taller ya tiene, le llaman sprinklers, no sé, para lo que es el rocío del agua en caso de incendio. Pues todo eso ya también, yo sé sé dónde recurrir para empezar a sacar los permisos para poder trabajar.
Ok, gracias.
Well, I'm impressed by you. You must have started.
Question was, do you have experience handling or administering a business? He said no. And when you say that you have support, are they your partners? Is it a group of partners, or are you the same person or the only person? Yes, I'm the only person responsible, but they're only supporting me. And to handle the business, not repairing the automobiles, but handling or taking care of your equipment, the environment, to not have things in the water. Have you had any training, or do you have experience in this already? I have a little bit of experience, but I have been told how to do this, to begin the permits to regarding the oil and to not contaminate the environment, and also everything that I need to do and to work my business, and to have the business. The location already has the sprinklers in case of a fire. I know how to do everything, and I know where to go to begin with the permits to begin working. Thank you.
That's right. Well, I have to say, I'm very impressed by you starting a business at such a young age. I don't know, were you fixing cars on your 12th birthday or what you were doing, but fantastic. I have just two questions. I think they're towards staff, though, and that's that when I drive by there, it seems like the only entry is through Arthur Road, so that his customers would drive through the sales lot in order to get to his establishment, or? 'Cause I don't
Actually, there's two entrances to the property. There is, you can go through onto Marin Street. There's a driveway there. There's also a driveway on Auto Center Drive.
Okay. And then the second question is all of this area going to just, I mean, essentially going to stay vacant then, I guess, right? I mean, this whole asphalt area back here is just going to be empty, pretty much? I mean,
For the time being, unless he's got a lot of cars to work on. But no, yeah. Essentially, yeah, that is just excess parking area at this time. I do believe that the property is for sale, so we don't know what the future's going to bring. But right now, we've just got an auto sales lot.
But his lease, he controls that entire back area, then is that, or does he control 5 spaces?
I believe, that level of detail, I would defer to the applicant on.
Do you have that whole back area behind your shop, all that vacant asphalt back there? Is that yours to use?
La pregunta es que si usted tiene todo el acceso atrás, el estacionamiento.
Tengo acceso a como a 20 vehículos de parking en la cuestión de afuera.
I didn't get what he said. ¿Qué dijo al principio, perdón?
Tengo permiso para 20 estacionar 20 carros.
Sorry. I'm off, sorry. He has permission to utilize 20 spaces of parking.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Buenas noches, good evening. Mine's gonna be in English. Do you understand the conditions that are being put upon you on this, on your business?
¿Usted entiende las condiciones que le están dando? ¿Que le están poniendo a su negocio?
¿Quién, el dueño del negocio, del el que me está rentando?
Sorry, I have to keep going back and forth. He's asking whether it's the owner, the conditions the owner's placing upon him, or the city's conditions.
Yeah, it would be the city's conditions.
Yeah, there's primarily just 3 conditions that he should be worried about.
My concern here is, I mean, he's young and I want the best for him.
Sure.
But I've seen businessmen come up here and they don't understand the conditions. You know, we give them conditions and they're simple conditions and they fail to understand the conditions that to go to lead, to not sell to minors, you know, and these are simple conditions. So I just want to make sure that he understands the conditions, that he's not supposed to have any unlicensed vehicles there, unregistered vehicles there, and he's not supposed to work on any vehicles outside his area. These are all conditions that the city's putting on him, and if he's found violating those conditions, he may come back and see us, and that's what I don't want. That's what I'm seeking, that he make sure he understands the simple conditions that have been given to him.
Sure.
I will translate for him. Simplemente estaba diciendo él que quería que usted sepa las condiciones que le está dando la ciudad, que condiciones que son que no puede trabajar en vehículos afuera de su área, no puede trabajar en vehículos que no están registrados, que no tienen licencia de registración, que esté consciente de todas esas reglas para que no se vea usted en problemas después. Él quiere saber que si usted está consciente de todas esas condiciones.
Sí, claro, sí, es así, estoy consciente de eso.
And then just a question for staff, and it's probably a correction on general conditions, line 6. It says any proposed changes in the signage for the restaurant shall require, and I think it's not a restaurant. I think
It's auto repair.
So I think we might want to strike that. And
Yeah, we'll just add that. Good catch. Sorry about
There
that.
was going to be a restaurant there.
Pero,
That's a condition.
buena suerte, good luck.
Muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Gracias. ¿Es todo?
Anybody else have any questions? No, thank you.
Muchas gracias a ustedes. Gracias.
Oh,
Did she get a chance?
yeah, go ahead.
Hello, good evening. My name is Maggie Rodriguez. I am helping Gabriel, and I know a couple of the staff from the city. It's not the first business that I help open. He's on his own doing the business under his name, but he definitely has support from myself, which I've had 16 years experience in human resources and rules and regulations, safety within anything that's got to do with human resources and licenses. So yes, he's doing this on his own, but he has support from us. He's been a great friend for over 10 years. And as a favor of mechanic, we traded some work. He worked on my car, and I promised to help him try to open his business. So he is very young. He's very smart. He knows what he's doing, and he just wants to get ahead and help the community as well. So yes, he's on his own, but not really. But I'm not a partner. Okay. In his crime, his garage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody from the public like to come up and say anything? Seeing none, I close the public hearing and bring it back for commission for discussion or a motion. Yes.
I move that we accept staff recommendation to adopt a resolution conditionally approving special use permit PP 2014-195, allowing the establishment of an auto repair business sales at 499 Auto Center Drive, based on the attached findings and conditions.
I'll second.
With modification to condition 6 to say auto
Modification.
repair.
Auto repair, not
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
We got a motion first and second. Any comments or? None. Can I have roll call, please?
Castillo,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Gonzalez. Jenkins,
Yes.
Sarmiento,
Yes.
Gomez Contreras,
Yes.
Corley.
Yes, congratulations. Six point two, a public hearing to consider an application for an administrative use permit PP 2014-186 for the establishment of a restaurant with beer and wine sales under new ownership at 1047 Freedom Boulevard. Can I get staff? Oh.
Sorry about that. Okay, Chairman Corley, members of the commission, Susie Merriam again. You saw this just a few months ago, 1047 Freedom Boulevard. It was Popo's. The use permit for alcohol sales under previous ownership was revoked by the Planning Commission on April 4th. It was revoked for various reasons that were alcohol related, mainly service of alcohol to minors, as well as the business operating more like a nightclub rather than a restaurant. The restaurant has been sold to Sylvia Trejo. She has been involved in ownership and management of Carnitas Trejo at 370 East Lake Avenue since about 2004. And so she's proposing to operate a second branch of the Trejo restaurant here at 1047 Freedom Boulevard. So the process, this is located in the neighborhood commercial zoning district. Beer and wine sales with a restaurant requires an administrative use permit rather than a special use permit. However, because of the sensitive nature of this business, the use permit having been revoked just 6 months ago, we wanted to defer it up to the Planning Commission so that you could review the project and make the decision rather than the zoning administrator. So that's why we are here tonight. Just to look at this again, this is the floor plan of the restaurant. It's actually converted old Victorian house. It has a main entrance on Freedom Boulevard and then side entrances as well. It's about 1,300 square feet in size. The hours are proposed to be 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Every day except for Wednesdays, and these hours are consistent with the ABC hours of operation and normal meal times for restaurants. So we also wanted to, of course, look at compliance with our alcohol ordinance. Restaurants with beer and wine sales are not allowed to have takeout service of alcohol. They cannot have a separate bar area. They cannot sell alcohol without the purchase of food, and they are not allowed to have payphones on the property. The Watsonville Police Department has reviewed the calls for service for the existing business at 370 East Lake Avenue, Carnitas Trejo, to get an idea of whether this has been a problematic business in the past year. There are really no calls for service that either were related to the business or related to the sales of alcohol at the business. We did find some calls for service for vandalism and that kind of thing, which we've got Lieutenant McKinley here to discuss that if you've got any questions. As conditioned, the police department is supportive of the project. And what we have added to the conditions is no entertainment, no karaoke, nothing, just so that they can get on their feet, have a new crowd coming in, clear the air. Perhaps if she wants to add karaoke or something in the future, we can consider that under modification, but that again would come back to the Planning Commission. No alcohol service outside of the building, that's in the parking lot or in that front patio area, as well as no loitering in the front patio. And then the conditions also require lead training for all existing and new service staff within 3 months of employment at the business, as well as lead training for management. And the staff report that was sent out to the applicant has the upcoming lead training dates and locations in Northern California. So it looks like that is something that can be done within 3 months. Based on all this, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve the project based on the findings and conditions, and this concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for staff? I have one question.
Yes.
I see here it says no alcohol is to be served before 11 a.m.
Yes.
Okay. So they open at 10, they can't serve till 11, correct?
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
I was going to, off that question, is that, how can I say this? Is that
Standard.
the norm for all our restaurants with beer and wine license? We don't allow them to sell to 11, or is it just specific this site?
That has been the norm for restaurants with beer and wine sales in the city.
So all restaurants they have beer and wine can't sell alcohol to 11? Is that what we're saying here?
Pretty much, yeah. This is not just pinpointed for this restaurant. This is something we regularly place on restaurants with beer and wine sales.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't see it in the other restaurants that opened this up. And that's why it's just kind of being like targeted for this specific site.
No, that's something that we often, is regularly placed on businesses.
My question would be for the applicant.
Okay. Yes.
Do you know what the maximum occupancy is for that space?
You know, I don't.
Well, and then along those lines, I know that the East Lake business is pretty popular. So what happens, if anything, when there's too many people there past the maximum occupancy? I'm sure that's the responsibility of the owner to manage, but
exactly. And then if there is a problem that somehow gets out of control, that's the point at which they need to call the police department and look at perhaps better ways to manage the business. If there's some crazy influx coming in for some reason, then they're going to have to figure out a strategy to manage that so that they don't exceed occupancy.
Yes.
What about at the current Trejos on East Lake? Do they serve alcohol?
They have beer and wine sales, yes.
Okay, and we haven't had, as you reported, no issues, no?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, going back to these conditions that we're putting on this locality of no entertainment. Personally, I don't think that's fair for the business person. Being that we had a situation with another business in the city that had an issue, changed ownerships, came in front of us, and we continue to give them their entertainment rights. Now we have a new business owner, has no relationship with a prior owner, has a good relationship doing business with beer and wine at the other locality. Now it seems like we're telling them, well, no, we're going to punish you for 6 months to see if you're going to be able to handle this. But this business person has already showed us that they can handle this. And so why are we going to bind them and not letting them give them entertainment and locate it?
Well, one thing to look at, and McKinley can also speak to this, this location has had issues with the clientele for several years. So one, yes, it goes to management to manage their clientele. But the second is the people who are used to going to that business. to patronize that business. And in order to send a message, not just to the business owner, but to the community, that this is a different business, staff decided that it would be more prudent to take the safer, more conservative route and say, look, you're a restaurant, which is the same thing. Popo's was not supposed to have karaoke or mariachi or anything. But they did. And so we wanted to specifically call out on this permit, no entertainment. When the clientele comes in, they'll see this is a restaurant, it's a family business, you're coming here to eat, you're not coming here for a nightclub. If that's something that the Planning Commission feels should be changed, you're welcome to do that. But as far as sending a message to the community and really making a change at this business location, we felt it was prudent to do this, so that we sent that message.
Also, my understanding is the applicant hasn't asked for it.
Yeah.
So, and their current restaurant doesn't have it.
But I'm just, kind of going along the line of what we've done to one business and permitted to one business, and now we got the same condition, not the same actually, but a new ownership, complete new ownership that has a good reputation, and if they might be interested in bringing in a little group or a trio or whatever their desire is, I don't think they'll be doing karaoke, but they have that flexibility. And that's where I'm trying to get at. Why are we going to be able to tell one business saying, oh, you haven't complied, but the police said you're okay. Now your sister's going to own the business, so we're going to continue to let you do business as usual. That doesn't seem fair to me. That's all I'm trying to get at. And I think that we should give the business owner that flexibility to be able to say, I'm interested in doing that, a little bit of entertainment.
Well, I think we can ask the business owner in a few minutes.
Yeah, but that's what I was addressing.
But the business owner did not request it. And the business owner on the East Lake does not have entertainment of anything. So, just let's ask the owner.
Yeah, I understand that, and I've driven by East Lake, and I've seen a little group out in their little restaurant. So, it has happened. And so why wait to get a business in trouble and then come back and say, oh, you didn't understand the conditions, that you weren't supposed to have any type of entertainment here, and now we're going to punish you, and we're going to take your liquor license away. That's the part that I'm trying to avoid. If they understand the conditions that the city's imposing upon them because of a prior owner that they had no dealings with, that to me seems unfair. So if they understand the conditions that are being put upon them, then
well, we can ask them when they get up here.
But first I needed to address staff to see how we stood on this, and if that's the direction we're going to go in, then it's up to the business person if they want to do it. But I want to make sure that business person understands that they ain't going to be able to have somebody out there with a guitar singing.
Okay, thank you.
I went over the conditions with the applicant's representative yesterday, so yeah, they know they're in there.
Let's hear from the applicant.
Yep. Is applicant present?
I thought you
yeah. That's fine.
First, I want to introduce Silvia Trejo. Like they say, behind a great man, behind a famous man, there's a great woman, and she is basically Carnitas Trejo on East Lake Avenue. She is the woman, is the backbone of that place. And so here she is, and I really admire her because when she started, she would go in this little wagon and take food and sell it to the field workers. She had a dream, and she has done it. It's taken a lot of hard work, and basically she's got 6 children, but she has done it, and when she came to me and says, I'm ready for another one, I said, I'm here to help you again. But this is her own. But what they want to do is just, East Lake, as you said, is not big enough. There's people that come from San Francisco. As far as San Francisco, we have records, King City and all those areas, and they stand in line, and when it comes to, for them to be served, they're out of the carnitas, because they're made freshly every day. So this is why it motivated her to do it, although there was kind of a jealousy between the husband. Well, why are you going to do it? Well, because she can do it. But I'm really proud of Carmen. I'm really proud of Carmen. I call her Carmen because that's her middle name. But she knows about all the conditions. It's okay. It's okay. We can come back in a few months and request that maybe at that time, they will allow, the staff will allow for her to have the entertainment. And I agree with you, Mr. Gonzalez. A trio or somebody just playing is fine, but it's okay. They're doing fine. And like Susie says, the message has to be sent because it was bad before, really bad. I used to be across the way. I'm Pajaro Valley Realty across the way, and I couldn't believe the things that I was seeing. And so you guys have the right idea of sending the message to the community, because people come and they want the same service, and they said no. And besides, we're not selling any liquor right now. So, but, we're here, and I'm sure she will try, and thank you for expressing, because I would do the same thing, but knowing the background, I understand, and, there's time. Anything else that you would like to? ¿Algo que quieras decir, Carmen? Dilo.
No, pues, lo que acabo de decir, aquí la señora Nora es mi representante, siempre le digo, ella es mi representante. Es verdad, que pues uno quiere trabajar, ¿verdad? Y es lo que hacemos, trabajar, porque a eso venimos, a trabajar. Y a servir a la comunidad, a dar un buen servicio y un buen ejemplo. Es lo que yo digo y pienso, y quiero estar bien en la comunidad, que es mi comunidad. Eso es lo que yo...
What she said is that she came to work and to serve the community, and that's what she intends to do. And if the business keeps on growing, hey, they might have a franchise someday. Who knows?
Anybody have questions for applicant? Yes, Rick.
I just wanted to tell you that your carnitas are magical, fantastic. Your flour tortillas are to die for. You've changed my life. Thank you.
Eso me halaga, me siento orgullosa de servir comida, pues como la que estamos sirviendo, ¿verdad? Que a toda la gente le agrada y que está hecho al día.
She's very proud of making her carnitas every day, and everything is fresh daily. And she really thanks you for enjoying her food.
Yes.
Señora, sus carnitas son las mejores carnitas del norte de California.
Gracias.
Y puede ser que en todo el California.
Puede ser que sí. Gracias, sí. Mucha gente viene de San Francisco y nos dice, son las mejores carnitas que he comido. Vienen de Bakersfield igual, vienen de allá de, más para allá de Los Ángeles, y también nos dan ese buen mensaje, ¿verdad? Que cuando vienen para acá, para Watsonville, que luego van a comer carnitas porque es lo que les agrada mucho, porque son únicas.
I've been to the restaurants several times, and I think that you have a sign in the restaurant on East Lake that says 2 beers per person. And you keep track of how many beers, because it's a restaurant. And the focus is on the food and not on the alcohol. And I appreciate that. And also, I want to be very clear, because Commissioner Gonzalez mentioned it. No mariachis, no dancing, no karaoke, nada, nada, nada. La gente viene para comer. No quieren música ni nada, solo quieren las carnitas.
Y saborear lo que
sí, con los frijoles
sí,
y un refresco y las tortillas.
Sí.
Forget the beer.
Sí, no necesitan la beer.
Oh, she's been doing wonderful.
Entonces,
When did you open up? I mean, and
entiende las condiciones que le de la ciudad. Gracias.
Bueno, yo también quería hacer el mismo comentario porque yo trabajo casi al frente de su restaurante y sí, hace años que he estado yendo a su restaurante y tiene las mejores carnitas. Pero lo que yo quería preguntarle es que si vamos a ir a comer carnitas después de la reunión.
Sí, están invitados.
digan un día.
Ajá, sí.
Una noche, un día.
No, le deseo mucha suerte y me imagino que
Gracias,
va a
muchas
estar
gracias.
tan bien como lo maneja el restaurante ahora. Sí, a pesar que tiene líneas esperando, van bien rápido. Las personas que trabajan ahí son muy amables. El lugar siempre está bien limpio. Los clientes también se portan muy bien. Es un lugar muy agradable.
Gracias, muchas gracias a ustedes. Tratamos de estar bien para, como le digo, servir mejor a la comunidad y que toda la gente esté contenta con el servicio que uno da. Siempre va a haber un pequeño error, ¿verdad? Pero tratamos de solucionarlo. Sí, gracias, muchas gracias a ustedes.
I do have a question.
You want to
what's that?
translate?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you translate that for us?
I wasn't recording, so I'm going to go by memory. She said, I'm really happy to serve the community and I'm here to serve you. I think I didn't catch all of it, sorry. Those were her last words.
Okay, thank you. East Lake restaurant, do you have all your servers leads trained?
Repeat the question again.
On the East Lake restaurant, is all your servers leads trained?
Dice que si están entrenados todos los que sirven en la East Lake, tienen entrenamiento.
Sí.
They are?
Todos tienen entrenamiento.
En el entrenamiento, cómo servir, las reglas de servir alcohol. Okay.
And my other question or concern, the video cameras at the Freedom Boulevard, are we installing those?
¿Van a instalar las cámaras de
Sí.
video? Sí.
Sí, también.
So those will be installed soon?
Soon.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions of the applicant? Yes. Oh, sorry.
Felicidades. Y tengo 3 preguntas. La primera es, ¿a cuántas personas nuevas le va a dar trabajo en su nuevo local?
Ahorita empezamos con 5 personas.
Good.
Pero como según vaya llegando más clientela, vamos a ir ocupando otras más.
My question
Ahorita son 5.
was how many new employees will this business have? And she said 5, and possibly more as the need arises. Mi otra pregunta es, ¿nunca han tenido el problema acá en la East Lake de que les llega de más gente, más de la que cabe en ese? Porque yo sé, ¿y cómo manejan eso? Para que no vaya a haber un incidente.
Lo que hacemos es que tratamos de atenderlos pronto, pero hay gente que hay momentos que tiene uno que salir como el dueño para enseñarle a la persona que tiene que esperar un momento porque ya está lleno el lugar y que sí la vamos a atender en lo más rápido que podamos, pero hay gente que sí nos espera, se va. Pero sí tratamos de platicar con ellos y enseñarles que si nos dan unos minutos los atendemos.
Does staff prefer that? Can I translate or should I allow? Okay.
Usually the people that are waiting, it's a takeout. That's why it's a separate line. I have to clarify that, okay?
How many people? Hold on, I was on the wrong one. how do you handle the overcrowdedness at the East Lake? And we try to handle or help the people quickly, but the owner goes out and we let them know that we're busy and they need to wait because we're full. And we will help them as soon as we can. But, you know, people sometimes don't wait, they leave. But we do try to talk to the people who are waiting and let them know that if they give us a few minutes, we will help them.
Y tengo una pregunta más. Y ay, chin, se me olvidó. No. ¿Cómo buscó otros lugares en donde abrir este negocio? Porque se me hace chiquito, nada más de curiosidad pregunto.
Estuvimos buscando, ¿verdad? Uno más grande, pero no se dio. Entonces, cuando supimos que estaba ese lugar de renta, ya fue que fuimos a preguntar a ver si se podía rentar, pero lo más que queríamos era que para que no se apriete el de la Isla, entonces para que pues decirle a la gente, allá está el otro lugar, pueden ir para allá si no quieren esperar aquí. Ese fue la razón, ¿verdad? Pero sí está chiquito, pronto se va a llenar porque ya el domingo se llena todo. Está lleno el domingo, el sábado ya también. Entonces sí, está chico. Pero esa era la primera opción, de que para que no hiciera línea la gente mucho, dividirse para allá.
Parece que ha sido una negociante muy responsable y la felicito y ojalá y tenga mucho éxito en este negocio.
Muchas gracias. Gracias por todo, porque yo sé que usted es mi cliente, yo la conozco, que siempre va. Y yo los felicito a todos y ya saben, están invitados a ir a saborear las carnitas. Trejo.
Just pick a date, okay?
Can we get translation, please?
Question was if she looked for other locations. She found that this location was small and she was just asking for curiosity. Yes, we did look for bigger locations, but we found out that this was for rent, and we looked into it and if we could rent it. And we wanted to have the people from East Lake to let them know that we have another location that they can go. They don't have to wait. That was our thought, and that was the reason. Yes, it is very small. It's going to quickly get full, but on Sundays it does get really full. And Saturdays also it gets full. It is very small. But that was our option so that we don't have a line on East Lake. They can go to this location. Thank you.
Yes.
I have, first of all, carnitas, pero yo me los he llevado a San Francisco a los trabajadores, so por eso vienen para acá. Anyways, I've taken carnitas up to San Francisco. I work in construction, so the guys are like, yeah. My question, though, is the site on East Lake has plenty of parking, and this site here obviously has limited parking. How are you working with your neighbors to be a good neighbor on the parking situation you're going to have there? Because, I mean, you're going to be, you have a lot of people that are going to be going there. And limited space, right? You have only parking in the back at this location? Do they meet obviously they meet requirements for the restaurant for parking.
Well, they share the parking with the doctor. And then in the back, there's parking. On the side between Remax and this building, there's a couple of parkings off street. This is during the week. Then on the weekend, the doctor is closed, and there's plenty of parking. So far, they never had any problem with parking.
Okay.
There's back there. only you gotta walk up, you know, but there is, I didn't count it. I should have, but I didn't count the,
And yeah, it's been established as a restaurant for many
Yeah.
years, so just goes on as a conforming use, basically, so.
Well, but I mean, the amount of people that go to the one on East Lake is an enormous amount of folks that go to that, and that parking lot is continuously packed, and
Sure.
sometimes you get jammed inside there, and as a safety looking point of view, you know, the fire department, access, those kind of questions, and that's why my concern of the parking, if they're gonna be taking up the driveways and.
We'll work with fire department to come up with an occupancy load on the restaurant itself, and that should monitor the,
Yeah.
you know, we can add that as a condition. I think it's a useful condition to include, have an occupancy load, but need to have the fire department establish that.
because it has ingress and egress. You know, you go in and then you come out around by the Tavares bookkeeping. So basically, it's like a,
The U, yeah. But knowing, and I'm gonna do this in English so that way we only interpret once. And no offense to you, Carmen, but her location on East Lake, that location has a lot of parking, and it's jam packed. I mean, I've gone there and it's a really full parking area. This is a smaller location, so one of my concerns is the accessibility of in case an emergency vehicle needs to get to her location, and there's not folks parking in the entrance on the side of your business, because, you know, parking everywhere else is already occupied.
You know what, just to jump in here, a fire truck is not going to go into their parking lot. They're just going to pull up right on Freedom Boulevard. So there would be no access. They wouldn't go down into that driveway because there's no turnaround for them.
Okay. So that would also help clear up the issue for that driveway being blocked for any emergency vehicle of any type.
Any other questions for the applicant? And thank you very much. I do have one question for the staff. On this photo, we see a telephone. Is that part of the business, or?
You know, I'm going to have to go out there and look at, when I put up that picture as well, it's from Google Earth. I was like,
It's an old, very old picture.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of change.
Okay.
yeah,
From
there's a lot of change to the front of that building. I do believe that the
Yeah,
telephone
no, there's
is
a
gone.
patio, a variety of other things. I think that phone is long gone.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anybody from the public like to come up and then say anything on this?
Hello, once again, my name's Eddie. I've already been to this location. It's really good, as usual. The telephone thing is not there anymore. That's just wanted to make that clear. The space is pretty small, but it made me feel, when I was there, it made me feel like I was at home, because I went with my family and we were there, and the hospitality and everything was really good, the service, everything. So, I mean, maybe as I heard that in the East Lake location, they have a sign that limits people like 2 to 3 drinks per person.
2 beers.
2 beers. Maybe that'll happen here too. So I really look forward to going there more often and seeing that sign right there. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anybody else? Seeing none, I close the public hearing and bring it to the commission for discussion or a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the establishment of a restaurant with beer and wine sales under the new ownership on 1047 Freedom Boulevard.
I'll second.
I would make a couple of recommendations on it. Looking at the conditions and hearing Susie's presentation, she said that there should be a 3-month requirement for leads training. Right now it says 6. So we need to modify that to 3 months. And then I would recommend putting an occupancy load on that. That's not a problem for us to do that. So with those two additional conditions, I'd make that recommendation.
What about the video cameras?
They're in there already.
Are they?
It's a requirement.
Okay.
I amend my motion to include, of course, now I can't remember the entire thing. What?
I've got it down.
Okay, thank you.
Occupancy load and a 3-month lead training.
We got a first and second? Any comments?
I just want to say, earlier on, when my colleague Gonzalez was talking about the condition around limiting entertainment, I was in agreement with you then, but I just want to clarify. I understand now that the applicant, it seems like the applicant wants to be able to have, be able to rely a little bit on this, on the city's condition if and when they get problems. And so it sounds like that's a good strategy and it's a responsible one. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Can I have roll call, please?
Castillo,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Sarmiento,
Yes.
Gomez Concheras. Yes. Corley,
Yes. Congratulations. 6.0, Reporter Secretary.
Sure, Chair Corley, just a brief presentation. We've become really busy in the Community Development Department, and so you'll be getting a few things coming up in the not-too-distant future. We have a cell tower, we have a few other things coming up, so just to put you on a little bit of warning. Also, I'm acting director for about the next month and a half while Marcella recovers. She's doing well, and just wanted to let you know she's recovering, good, on track, doing quite good. So anyway, just that's the end of my presentation.
What about the EIR for that 5-story building in Freedom? What day is that?
Well, if you're welcome to come October 15th, we're having a public scoping session. We have an application for a high-density project on Freedom and Atkinson. It's a 5-story building, which is totally inconsistent with all the current RM3 regulations, CN regulations. They're using a density bonus provision to make about 9 modifications to the underlying district regulations. So we're fairly concerned about the project and are letting people know about it. So that's why we're having a public scoping session.
Can you repeat the place and time?
It's October 15th, and it's going to be in the community room.
Is that right on Freedom Boulevard, Keith? Is that
It's
where
at
the
Freedom and Atkinson.
where the nursery was?
Yes.
So it'll be on Freedom Boulevard,
Yes.
not Atkinson. But
No,
just
the corner of.
Wow.
Freedom
5
and
stories.
five stories is what's what they propose. The district allows 3. So
What time was that again?
6:30.
6:30. And Sear, right? Next door?
Next door, right up here, 275 Main Street, 4th floor.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get over to it.